Okay, we're making our first stop of the day. There's the Nerds in Oregon mobile. Ta-da! There's Chris taking a picture. We did it. We made it to Grand Teton National Park. It's not very far from Jackson.
Yeah, so if you're
we've only been driving for like 10 minutes, don't you think? 10.
Yes.
Since we left the Bunnery.
We're taking that awesome scenic route to good old Cody, Wyoming. And so we stopped here to look at the mountains because, you know, Sarah, I think anyone who knows us knows we love our Tetons grand, and they don't get grander than those majestic
Here's
beauties
another
right
fun
there.
fact. Here's another fun fact about Chris Waffle that he won't tell you. He loves a plaque, and that's actually why we stopped. Let me show you.
Oh, it tells you the name.
Oh, I was trying to remember. So I remembered that was Grand.
Yep. Buck Mountain. I got a song similar to that.
You do have a song similar to that.
It's time to climb Buck Mountain. Now I can change the words and make it about
this trip.
Yeah.
This is at the Albright turnout. That's really just for our information later if you want to put it up on the screen.
So, you know, you thought we were done with Jackson, but there's always surprise when you're exploring Jackson Hole.
I'm back. So we tried to drive. We went to the Jenny Lake store, and then I wanted to show Chris where I worked in the 90s. But you can't even stop there in the parking lot. It's all closed off because of COVID. So we stopped at the Overlook, and look at how beautiful this is. And then my very favorite mountain was always Mount Moran. Here. And this is Jenny Lake, so we are at the Outlook on the Jenny Lake Loop Road. So pretty.
All right, Nerds in Oregon, we are back. Chris and Sarah, where are we this time, Sarah?
At the West Thumb Geyser Basin in Yellowstone.
There it is.
Pretty cool.
Lots of cool stuff. Geothermic forces are happening right now as we speak.
And we're at Yellowstone.
Yeah, part of Operation
You just
Get
got
Gus.
it. You just got it.
It was Operation Guess Gus. We are seeing some cool stuff here.
Thought it was going to be more crowded than it is. It's actually not too bad.
Yeah. No, I feel like there's too many people.
Well, you would feel
It is a Sunday in the middle of a pandemic.
But look, it's not crowded. Ooh, what's up here?
We couldn't find a parking spot. We had to circle
is-
around.
The Thumb paint pots. It's the mud ones. Oh, cool.
All right, let's go check it out. So we decided to take a little break here in the shade of West Thumb Geyser Basin here at Yellowstone. We're having a great time. The formations are awesome.
Yeah.
And but we thought we'd take a moment to just talk about some of the things we've seen in conjunction with it being the COVID era during the pandemic here, summer of 2020, when we're filming this at the end of July. And I thought, first off, so we're doing this as part of Operation Gus. I don't think normally we would have taken a trip right now.
No. And we're calling it a safecation because we're taking accountability for our own social distancing. We wore a mask when we were walking around the geyser basin and staying outdoors as much as possible, not even eating inside. But here at the geyser basin, you have to walk on a wood walkway because the ground's fragile.
It feels like there are a ton of people here right now.
And there really aren't. It's just that when you're limited to a small walkway, there's no way you can social distance. And so
I ended up just wearing the mask.
Yeah, we just wore a mask
the whole time because there were spots where you couldn't social distance, and about, I'd say, 30% of the people are wearing masks or have masks with them.
Which is probably, since we got to Jackson, like the least mask wearing I've seen.
Well, we drove straight through Idaho, and Idaho was nothing was happening.
That's
in
what I
Idaho
was saying, since we got to Jackson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so. So there's that. Another thing that we've seen is, and this makes sense during the pandemic too, we've seen a ton of license plates from all over coming to this area.
Just in the parking lot here, from walking from our car to the geyser basin, we saw like Connecticut, Arkansas, Texas, California.
Texas, California,
Yes.
California, which as we're filming this, those two states are just having a really hard time with hospitalizations, deaths, and infections. So just wanted to put that out there with a grain of salt. And so if you're deciding to, after seeing this, if you're deciding to take a road trip as a form of vacation, keep that in mind. We're seeing people from all over. Oregon, where we're from, has a relatively low infection rate compared to many states, and we're seeing high infection rate states just kind of drive out all over. And
another thing is that a lot of the large lodges in the national parks that would normally be where people stayed, like Jackson, Grand Teton Lodge, is it Jackson Lodge, but part of the Grand Teton National Lodge Company, that and Jenny Lake Lodge and I think Yellowstone Lodge, they're not open right now. So it's really pushing people into more crowded spaces because families that were planning on coming here can't stay in those lodges. So we thought it would actually make it so fewer people were here, but instead all those people are in the cities now.
It's like making them condensed into
smaller
spaces. So for instance here, we thought because the West Thumb area is actually pretty. We walked along, and it's. But when we got here, we couldn't even find a parking spot, and then and there's been spots where it felt very compacted, and we were surrounded by a lot of crowds, which made us a little nervous.
But we're just being careful. We're social distancing. We're waiting for people. Like, we're trying to move around large groups with our masks on, and trying to move
out of the way,
or wait for if a group is standing closer to a particular pool to see it, we stand back and wait until they leave instead of crowding up on them.
Some people aren't doing that.
Some people aren't doing that for sure.
So it's just like with any population of human beings, some people are gonna be more courteous than others. But anyway, so that's our thought. Otherwise, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful
We saw an elk a huge elk right on the side of the road at Grand Teton National Park.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna head out the east gate towards Cody, and we're gonna make another stop at there's another visitor center. We didn't go to the West Basin or the West Thumb Visitor Center, but there is another visitor center area on our way out that we'll stop by before we head out of the park.
Yep, so Operation Get Gus continues on.
Let's get them.